Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 282. And yo, I gotta ask this right here, right? What the hell is Ace doing? I'm talking about the cover story, by the way. But what the hell is Ace doing, floating in front of the marine base? What the fuck is he doing? You know, like, cause the reason why I'm asking is that takes a lot of balls. You know, like you're on an infamous crew and you're floating outside the Navy base. That's like pulling your pants down and mooning the police, and you're not in the car. You know, like that. That's what I'm kind of getting right here. So I don't really know what the hell Ace is doing, but given the fact that this dude is funny as hell, I could definitely expect something crazy to be taking place. So that being said, let's just jump right into the chapter, right? So what I thought was pretty damn interesting was the fact that when Luffy and Enel are fighting. I almost said Enryu because that's how the manga has it. And I know a lot of you guys prefer to hear Enel, so I'm saying Enel more. But one of the things I thought was interesting about the Luffy and Enel fight is I really thought that Luffy finished his ass off, okay? Like, I thought that was it. And because you got like the eyes, you know, kind of roll back in his head. You see the white of his pupils. And if I'm going to be real with you, when I read that, I was like, man, I really hope this isn't the end to this fight, because I want to see more. You know, like a classic villain like Enel, it really feels like this should not be the closing sequence of his fight. And the reason why I say that is, said before, you know, it kind of felt like when Luffy was saying, hey, you're not really a god, you're not really a kami, just because you have this doesn't mean you can treat people this way. I felt like that was the curtain rise, or not even the curtain rising, that's like the prelude, right? Where when you're at the theater, and if you guys don't go to theater, I'm about to kind of give you a brief taste of it. It's kind of like you hear the narrator talking, or you hear the voices of the different people, and the lights are all off. And then once they start fighting, that's when the curtain is finally lifted and you're just thrown right into the moment. Like, this felt like the first act, okay? And I'm really paying attention to this now because I saw something in Luffy versus Crocodile that I thought was pretty damn interesting. It's because they fought 3 different times and on 3 different locations. And I'm wondering if Oda's going to repeat this pattern, because one of the things I've been looking at is you can actually break down all of Luffy's fights to where they all have 3 acts to them. So I'm really interested to know if this is going to stretch out a little bit longer. Doesn't really feel like that. So I'm not going to get my hopes up on that, but it doesn't really feel like that though. But what I did like about this is when Luffy and Enel, you know, they start to mix it back up again, right? You know, Luffy, he's all, you know, huffing and puffing, and he's getting ready to go for another blow on him because he's like, all right, this isn't over. And that's when Enel just powers up and he turns to the bell that's on the arc, right? And he just melts the whole thing. And right away, I'm going, oh shit, okay, because when he powers up, I mean, he's gonna, you know, use that to kind of break something down. And it ends up being the gold, and right away, I'm like, that's pretty damn smart. And the reason why that was smart is what ends up happening is as that gold is kind of rushing forward, Luffy's got that pit bull mentality. So he's like, I'm just gonna punch it out of the way. Well, it ends up encasing his hand, which again is a nice bit of strategy. And I'm thinking right here, we're going to see how strong Luffy is. And this just confirms to me what I've been saying. If they're going to survive, and Luffy even knows this, but if they're going to survive, they've got to get stronger, okay? Because as they go deeper into the Grand Line, it's only going to get more crazy and wacky. And he even tells Enel this, which is why I said that Luffy knows that he's got to do some training. Because the beautiful thing about this is that gold ball, if Luffy would have been strong enough to rear that shit back, you know, cock it back and knock Enel in the face with it, he probably could have won the fight. And so that's something I got that, you know, I want to pay, you know, kind of closer attention to is Luffy's strength. We know he's durable, but I got to see his strength now. Like, I got to see some more strength feats. Like, he's strong as hell. Don't get me wrong. Like, we've seen stuff, particularly with, I believe it's Little Garden, where we had Dory and that whole sequence. Like, Luffy's strong as hell. We've seen some amazing strength feats from Luffy, but Luffy ends up falling off, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a pretty chill way to end the chapter. Pretty short, but pretty chill way. Not really the case, because one of the things we see is the people they're all freaking out, right? And Oda's continuing this whole thing with people are afraid of change because all of the people are like, oh shoot, that's the commie ship. We got to get the hell out of here. And we even see Nico Robin. It looks like Nico Robin's getting ready to, I don't know how, but it looks like she's going to rejoin the fight some kind of way because she notices the arc and it looks like she has Zoro and Chopper and Ganfall and Wiper. And we know that Aisa and the horse bird, they probably got struck down. But then again, Luffy's with them. And because of main character plot armor, I don't think that, they got taken out. Wouldn't be surprised if Luffy just ate the attack. But he's also got that gold ball, and I believe the elements of that should conduct some electricity, but Luffy has rubber, so it should negate. I'm not really sure on that. It's been a minute since I've taken science and chemistry and all that stuff. So somebody let me know down in the comment section below. But what I thought was pretty damn cool is we get a shot of the Shandians, right? And they're told you need to go down to the Blue Sea. It's no longer safe here for you either. And what ends up happening is they're all freaking out. Like, what are you talking about? And that just shows, again, when people are confronted with having to change, they're going to push back on it. And so I like how Oda is continuing to show us that. And also with Enel, because Enel, he's in for a big-ass surprise. Because when you think about it, he's strong as hell, but the fact that we haven't really seen Shanks go all the way out. Like we saw him pissed off in the very first chapter for Romance Dawn, but we hadn't really seen Shanks just, open this shit up and start fighting. And Shanks is a fucking legend, so Shanks is OP. And then you got fucking Whitebeard out there. Like, you got fucking Ace, his badass is in front of the Marines and everything. And from what I saw on that chart that broke down all the devil fruits, Ace has a Logia type as well. So Enel's gonna have monsters that he's gonna run into, and it wouldn't surprise me if when Enel gets to Blue Sea, if he doesn't get one-shotted, man. Like, and I can see it. I can kind of feel that kind of coming too. Just because Oda had Luffy warn him that there are real monsters out on the Blue Sea, and you have no idea what you're getting ready to get yourself into. So the fact that he's saying that and Enel bursts it off, it kind of confirms it for me. And another thing too, because Luffy has taken out a Logia type, I can see him beating Enel, and I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be the same thing with Crocodile, where what's going to end up happening is Luffy is going to use Enel's arrogance against him. So that's going to be cool. One final thing that takes place in this chapter that I thought was pretty interesting, and it says a lot about the durability as well as their willingness to want to help out even when they're not at 100%, is Sanji and Usopp are climbing up towards the ship. So Captain Save-A-Hole Sanji is coming to Nami's rescue, and we see Nami, she grows the backbone's already been there, like we know Nami's not afraid to knock you on top of the head, as well as to tell you what she's thinking about. And so with Nami, she's like, yeah, Enel, I do have things I want to do, but I can't do what you told me to just forget about the people who aren't here anymore, because if I can't do the things I want to do while I have them right beside me, then I don't even know if I want to live at this point. And that's when Enel's like, hey, you're really willing to throw away your life. Are you fucking crazy? So I like seeing Nami's little friendship speech. Again, and that's what it was. It was a fucking friendship speech, okay? But the thing is this is shonen, okay? Like, that happens from time to time. It just is what it is. That's like the #1 go-to trope for shonens. I think that's why a lot of people, like, they move out the shonen genre and move on to other things. I just personally prefer shonens. That's why a lot of the stuff I review is shonen type stuff. I just personally prefer them, okay? So overall, really good chapter. Really, really good. I have to say this. This is one of the few times where the cover story is more interesting to me than the actual meat of the chapter, because it's just that sense of mystery, okay? And this is fucking brilliant what Oda does, where he has the cover stories and then he has what takes place in the chapters, because if he's got a subpar chapter but he's got a bomb-ass cover story, that's enough for you to sit there and say, man, let me check back next week. So that's pretty smart. I know some mangaka, I know Kishimoto did it back when Naruto was running. He'll actually use the excuse me, he'll actually use the cover chapters or the cover volumes, and that'd be a way to kind of keep you hooked and reeling, where you see the cover art and you're like, oh, okay, this is foreshadowing this, and so that's kind of cool. But my chapter question for you all is gonna be this here: what were your thoughts about Ace being right outside of the Navy ship? Were you like me? Were you going, he's got a big set of balls, or were you trying to think ahead to what he was trying to do? But as always, if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button, comment, rate, subscribe, share. As always, thank you for watching Kryptonian Saiyan. Have an awesome day, guys.